Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the Windward Buddhist Temple's virtual Dharma Service. We will begin the service this morning with the chanting of the Vandana and Ti-Sarana. This is found on page 7 of the Red Service book. Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. The sutra today is Gassho to Amida, and this is found also in the Red Service book. Please follow along. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Namo Nembutsu. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I Gassho to Amida, trees and grasses and flowers, all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play, every day with Amida, every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida, remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida, in the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namanda is a namanda is a namanda namanda. Let's put our hands together for the reading of the Creed number 2, and this is found on page 4 of the Red Service book. Casting off the self-power mind of the varied practices and disciplines, we entrust ourselves single-mindedly to Amida Tathagata to save us in regard to the one great matter of birth. With one thought moment of entrusting, we know that we are saved and that our birth is settled. After this, we say the name in joy and gratitude, repaying the Buddha's graciousness. We acknowledge gratefully that we are able to hear and understand this teaching because of the benevolence of our Master having appeared in this world, and of the successes in the transmission, the good teachers whose words were not shallow. Beyond this, we will observe the established rules of conduct throughout our lives. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning once again, and welcome to our virtual Dharma service here at the Windward Buddhist Temple in Kailua. You know that I'm from Kailua, and when I was going to high school in town, in Honolulu, I would often gaze at the Ko'olau Mountains and look beyond the pali from my home on Kainalo Drive and envision all the hustle and bustle of Honolulu so far away in the distance, and realize how fortunate I was to live in such a tranquil and peaceful place that Kailua was. It was truly country then, and we were referred to as country jacks by the kids from Honolulu. Please join me in putting your hands together in reverence as I read a passage from the collected works of Shinran. Amida, full of compassion for those lost in the great night of ignorance, the wheel of light of Dharma body, being boundless, took the form of the Buddha of unhindered light and appeared in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, I know that many of you have heard this expression, I know all the answers, and I have to save others from the torments of hell. Maybe some of these people are too serious about their religion, their religious practices, or their spirituality. When the Dalai Lama was asked once what he thought was the best religion, he replied that whatever makes you more compassionate, more sensible, more detached, more loving, more human, more responsive, more ethical. The religion that will do that for you is the best religion. I am not interested, my friend, he said, about your religion or if you are religious or not. What is really important is your behavior in front of your peers, your family, work, community, and in front of the world. Remember, the universe is the echo of our actions and our thoughts. Take care of your thoughts because they become words. Words because they become action. And action because they become habits. Habits will form your character. Character will form your destiny. And your destiny will be your life. There are people in the world that are what can be termed as enlightened beings, in that they not only work for themselves, but also for others, and find great joy in their work. Even though helping others and working for others is tiring, they find great joy in what they do and continue to keep working. Well, two people in mind are Mother Teresa and Princess Diana. They're both not alive anymore, but their deaths moved us emotionally. Both Mother Teresa and Princess Diana lived a life based on a heart of compassion, yet each lived naturally. Like a Zen master, Mother Teresa didn't care when people appreciated or expressed admiration for her. Naturally, she appreciated all of the accolades given to her, but she always said, well, I'm not doing anything special. That is all I can do. She lived among the poorest of the poor. And when she died, she had a funeral that was like that of a king. What a wonderful role model she was. Princess Diana was a charming woman. She fell in love, was divorced, and felt much disappointment in her short life. She fell in love again. These experiences of Diana made her truly human, and we can often relate to the experience of other human beings, as many of our everyday problems are often shared by others. Both Mother Teresa and Princess Diana were gifted by their positions in life. Both of them acted in their position in ways that showed a heart of compassion. Initially overwhelmed by her royal duties and the intense media coverage of nearly every aspect of her life, Diana began to develop and to pursue her own interests. She served as a strong supporter of many charities and worked to help the homeless people living with HIV and AIDS and children in need. Diana used her international celebrity status to help raise awareness about this issue. Continuing her charitable efforts is the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. This was established after her death. The fund provides grants to numerous organizations and supports initiatives to provide care to the sick in Africa, to help refugees, and to stop the use of landmines. Mother Teresa left her parental home in Macedonia and joined the Sisters of Loreto, which is an Irish community of nuns and missions in India. After a few months training in Dublin, she was sent to India, where in May of 1931, she took her initial vows as a nun. For 17 years, Mother Teresa taught at St. Mary's High School in Calcutta. But the suffering and the poverty that she glimpsed outside the convent walls made such a deep impression on her that in 1948 she received permission from her superiors to leave the convent school and to devote herself to working among the poorest of the poor in the slums of Calcutta. Although she had no funds, she started an open-air school for slum children. Soon she was joined by voluntary helpers, and financial support was forthcoming as well. This made it possible for her to extend the scope of her work. Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for work undertaken in the struggle to overcome poverty and distress, which also constitutes a threat to peace. She refused the conventional ceremonial banquet given to laureates and asked that the $192,000 fund be given to the poor in India, stating that earthly rewards were important only if they helped her help the world's needy. When Mother Teresa received the prize, she was asked, "What can we do to promote world peace?" She answered, "Go home and love your family." Building on this theme in her Nobel lecture, she said, "Around the world, not only in the poor countries, but I found the poverty of the West so much more difficult to remove. When I pick up a person from the street hungry, I give him a plate of rice, a piece of bread. I have removed that hunger. But a person that is shut out, that feels unwanted, unloved, terrified, the person that has been thrown out from society, that poverty is so hurtful and so much that I find that very difficult." The efforts of both Mother Teresa and Princess Diana worked for oneself and at the same time work for others without any expectation. This is the true practice of dana, with no thought of a thank you or anything else in return. Right here in Honolulu, I see many acts of compassion as I drive by on some of the streets in town. I see at times people stopping, sitting down right next to a homeless person and chatting with him, keeping that person company for a while. Then they get up and go on about their business. Several times as I walk by to Burger King or Zippy's restaurant, I see people stopping and telling a homeless person, "Oh, you look like you could use a hot meal." Without waiting for an answer, they dig into their bag or wallet and hand them a $10 bill. I try to be like them, but I find it very hard, even though I truly feel for them. I know one person who I met once because he came to the Buddhist Study Center at the invitation of the then director, Reverend Tom O'Connell. He sat in on a 10-day summer session as well. His mother was Japanese, but she died previously, several years previously, and so he carried her ashes around with him until it got stolen. So Reverend Okano, at his request, did a memorial service for her. As time went by, I used to see him occasionally, usually on Starbucks on Ward Avenue, having coffee with his dear friend, the late Reverend Henry Tanaka. They were great friends. Reverend Tanaka really enjoyed keeping company with this homeless person. He was a true friend. People like the ones I described who make the homeless feel wanted and joyous do not consciously do things for others. They just do it out of true compassion. We ask ourselves, what can we do to make this life meaningful for us and for others? What can we do to create a heart of compassion in ourselves? By asking such questions of ourselves, we can work together to have a heart of compassion. Through the ongoing and hopefully as we see the lessening of the COVID-19 virus in our lives, we have, as mentioned in my talk, true compassion by members of our society. One other thing is that I have seen many instances of homeless wandering about on the grounds of the many 7-Eleven stores in town, and where customers went in to purchase food items. They invariably purchase an extra sandwich or musubi and hand it over to their waiting hands. People like the ones I just described, who make the homeless feel wanted and joyous, do not consciously do things for others. They just do it. We ask ourselves, what can we do to make this life meaningful for us and for others? What can we do to create a heart of compassion in ourselves? By asking such questions, we can work with ourselves to have this heart of compassion. This year's Hongwanji slogan, Building Healthy Sanghas, Nurturing Empathy and Respect, asks us to live with a transformed mind so that we may live in full compassion and gratitude together. It is the third in the wheel of Buddhism, together with the Buddha and the Dharma. As fellow human beings on the same path of enlightenment, even though we are limited in our weaknesses, through the working of Amida Buddha, we are brought together, supporting each other and nurturing sensitivity and an awareness of the oneness of life. Thank you very much for virtually attending this Dharma service, and may you always be surrounded by the light of the Buddha's compassion. Although this ongoing COVID-19 is still with us, we can see light at the end of the tunnel. We have mentioned in my talk, we have been surrounded by compassion, true compassion by members of our society. They are true living Buddhists and non-Buddhists alike in building healthy sanghas and nurturing empathy and respect. They live with dana in their hearts. Thank you very much for listening, and now will you please put your hands together in Gassho as I read the words of the Buddha. The spirit of Buddha is that of great compassion and loving kindness. The great compassion is the spirit to save all people by and any all means. The great loving kindness is the spirit that prompts us to be ill with the illness of people, to suffer with their suffering. Your suffering is my suffering, and your happiness is my happiness, said the Buddha. And just as a mother always loves her child, he does not forget that spirit even for a single moment. For it is the nature of Buddhahood to be compassionate. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. We will conclude today's service with the Gatha, Flying Free, followed by the Nembutsu. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. Let us cease from wrath and refrain from angry looks, nor let us be resentful when others differ from us. For all beings have heart, and each heart has its own leanings. Their right is our wrong, and our right is their wrong. We are not unquestionably sages, nor are they unquestionably fools. We are both simply ordinary beings. How can anyone lay down a rule by which to distinguish right from wrong? For we are all one with another, wise and foolish, like a ring which has no end. These words of Shotoku Taishi. Well, thank you very much for attending this virtual Dharma service, and we hope to see you again next week. Next week is going to be our scheduled Dana Day service, along with a pet memorial. So I wish to remind you that if you have a pet or any pets that you wish to have memorialized, please send in your pictures and the names. Thank you. Have a good day.